of their language, their culture, and their families. As we stand on the ground they call Canada through colonization and genocide, we recognize that standing here on Turtle Island and honoring the land that we are on means that when we see the same means of white colonization and genocide happening throughout the world, we do everything in our power to fight back. Disgracing not only the people from Palestine you are surrounded by right now, but also disgracing the freedom fighters and the land protectors that come from the land on which we stand. 2 years later, I would say it's more than obvious that we are a freedom movement and we are far from a trend. To everybody who stands here today, you will see multiple races, every religion, but what you do see are Canadians honoring the fact that as Canadians, we recognize we're a peacekeeping nation, a party to the Geneva Convention, and our responsibilities as such are to intervene in cases of war crimes, especially that of genocide. Today, as Canada recognizes the state of Palestine, as you guys continue to move forward in the world, please remember that as we have just recognized the state of Palestine, the UN has also recently declared this is indeed a genocide, which we already knew. We've been watching it with our own eyes for 2 years. But that means we need to start demanding that the UN invokes Chapter 7, which is a military response to the atrocities happening not just in Gaza, but in the West Bank and all over Palestine, which also involves the so-called State of Israel. We demand military intervention because there is now no excuse to not have it. So, that being said, I'm going to pass this off to whoever's chanting or speaking next. Brother, you?
A big shout out to this community for actually standing up for what is right. Today marks 715 days of the ongoing genocide in Gaza. Shame. 715 days of constant killing, constant evictions, constant starvation, things that we have all seen ahead of our eyes. And you guys already know, and my comrade here and everybody have shared it before. What we have to see here is something that we would rather look at in another perspective. It has been 715 days of resistance, 715 days of resilience, 715 days of people that showed us what it means to be a human being. Gaza has shown us the difference between what is the truth and what is false, what is righteousness and what is falsehood. It is very clear what is going on. All you need to be is a human being to see the difference between what is right and what is wrong. You just need to be a human being with a moral conscience to realize what is happening in Gaza and all across Palestine is absolutely wrong. So that is the least we could possibly do, is to come out here and raise this flag of justice. When we see these scenes upon our arms and in our hands, in the palm of our hands, when we see these scenes, the least thing we could possibly do is to show up to these demonstrations, to raise this flag of justice. At least you do something and you give something back to this cause. Donate to Hands for Charity, show up to these organizations. At least we have to better ourselves to better society. There is no change going to come without us bettering ourselves first. And how do we better ourselves first? Get closer to your Lord and Creator. Have faith. Have faith is very important, and we'll get back to the faith factor. Number 2 is learn about Palestine. Read a book about Palestine. Watch a documentary about Palestine. Talk to a Palestinian to understand what they're going through. Going back about their faith, you know. Palestinians, the faith factor is not only limited to all Muslims. You know, because whether you're a Jewish, Christian, Muslim, black, brown or white, we all know justice and we all know what is right. Freedom is universal, it's both yours and mine. Just like in the words of Nelson Mandela, freedom isn't complete until the freedom of Palestine. That is very important. It is not limited only to people that have believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is okay, have faith in hope, have faith in life, have faith in the fact that change will definitely come. Have faith that, you know, this will come to an end, inshallah, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. There is a few days, inshallah, and a lot of things will change. Always have this sense of hope. Always have something that, you know, you look forward to. That you're going to change upon this. So we have to better ourselves first to better society. So what we have to do is we have to expose these Zionist lies online. We have to share about what is going on. And offline, we shout loudly in the streets and we make the articles headline. We will forever support the oppressed, and we will be the lifeline. For a resistance so pure in a land divine, so let the heavens hear your calling and mine, professing, free, free Palestine! Okay, that is the least thing we could possibly do, is to chant for a free Palestine because it means so much. And when we say, from the river to the sea, when we call it from the river to the sea, we are calling for free Palestine from the river to the sea, touching the deserts of Sinai up to the Galilee, one land united down to every single rock and tree. And Palestine's future, inshallah, will most surely be free. And whether it was South Africa or Germany, one thing is granted: evil never lasts, and what's been uprooted can be replanted, inshallah. With such a community like this, there is no greater threat to power than a solid, united community rooted in faith. That is the only threat to power. And what I can see in front of me here is people from all different religions, creeds, nations, ethnicities, standing up on this one solid cause, a small land as Gaza, a beacon of hope, a beacon of steadfastness, a beacon of, it's a capital that have united all of us here, all the way in Toronto, down Leeds, wherever we are, I don't know where we are. This, that brought us here, that united us, all of us together, just for this just cause. Why? And we would rather spend Sundays with our family members, and these kids will go out to do something more better than what we have to do here. But we have to do this. This is not a matter of where and how we can actually help the Palestinian cause. It's a duty. It's an obligation. It's a duty for every single one of us to do what is right. And this has been 77 years we've been protesting. It did not start on October 7th. 77 years we've been protesting, since 1948, and we ain't resting. And we will continue investing in our youth and in good people. Again, we ain't resting. We ain't resting. I'll tell you something. Palestinians are people just like you and I. The ones all the way you see in Gaza, the one you see in Palestine, they're people just like you and I. Each with different dreams, beliefs, humans who laugh and cry. Some now being Muslims whose fathers were Jews. Some atheists, some Christians. Don't listen to the news, who portray it as a fight between two religions. Or some political parties with different visions. It's all a cover-up, and it's all lies and deceit. What is happening, what we have to constantly repeat, is colonial oppression, genocide. I repeat, colonial oppression, genocide to defeat. The resistance to intifada to make it obsolete. And we will never retreat and never back down until the complete liberation of the land, inshallah. Okay.
I see you up there, 15th floor, waving the kafir. Hands up if you know Israel is evil. From now on, even if you don't join us on the
girl in her mother's arms. A U.S. contractor turned whistleblower who worked at one of these so-called aid sites